May 31st, 2026. I'm headed up to go camping at Gypsy Meadows with a bunch of guys that are doing Bigfoot research. We did this last year in the spring and we had a blast. So some of the guys are already up there. Ulmer, Bill Bisson, and I'm not sure who else is there. The doctors, Curtis and David, are headed up from down south, and they're supposed to be here tonight, possibly. There's several other people that have been invited to go, and I do not know who they are.
This is for self-inflicted wounds.
We're going to take a little walk on the other end of the meadow here. Will is describing that there's a place up there that's got a marshy area and stuff, so that sounds like that'd be a place to go up there and just kind of look around for some footprints or any sign or anything like that.
Running along this stretch right here. Plus they recorded what sounds like a female voice, like talking at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning right up here. So we've heard knocks, vocals in this direction, so, and they found tracks up here. I think they measured like 16 inches. So all right, excellent. Yeah.
I missed the first part of that. Who found that?
The docs, SquatchDocs.
Okay.
Got a spot here we dug up a little bit. Might be a little bear activity. Well, this is pretty area up here. It's got the creek just a little bit to the left of us. Some old growth forest up here. Not really anything to see right now. Of course, you know, it's just the luck of the draw to find stuff sometimes. Did you find anything up there, Glenn?
No, just some pepper and maybe grain or something.
Okay.
Little spots here and there.
Yeah, seen that back there too. Here. Yeah, that's what it was. Good eye. Cricks on the left one. Glenn, would you mind telling a little bit of your story?
Sure.
Of the Sasquatch Bigfoot that you seen when you were a younger man?
Yes. It happened out in the Colville reservation outside of Mispelum, towards Killer Cartar we call it. And I was probably about 7 years old. My father, my two cousins went out there to collect cans out of the old dumpsters and stuff, and there was one about maybe 6 to 7 feet tall, maybe, and my dad was telling us not to look in their eyes, and one of my cousins, he was like getting lured by him, and my dad and my cousin were trying to get my cousin's attention, and he started walking towards the Sasquatch, and it was just kind of, you know, after that, it was just, you know, I actually seen one, and that's why I'm out today, just kind of help out. And that's my story of the Sasquatch for a moment. Just getting to see one, you know, about young height anyways, maybe 6-7 feet tall at the time. And I was just a youngster at the time.
What do you think they are, Will? You've been looking into this for what, 15 years now?
Something like that. I try not to say what I think Sasquatches are in my videos, because I gotta remain skeptical on a lot of stuff, and I don't want to come up with a thought and base all my evidence that I find because of what I might think.
Okay.
So I try to avoid thinking about that. But the last few times being out, this one thought that just keeps running through my head, you know. For one, their feet, for example, they look human. They're big, but they look human. You know, you look at other primate feet, you know, the ape family and stuff, and they don't look like a Bigfoot track. A Bigfoot track just looks like a large human footprint. Being out here for the last several days, we keep hearing voices. We're hearing stuff talking to each other. We're hearing conversations. We're hearing gibberish and stuff. And animals don't talk. But whatever's out here is talking and communicating, and I have no idea what they are, but they're showing indications, if this is what they are, what's out here right now, they're showing human characteristics, you know.
Back in the 30s, they had a camp where we're at right now, and there was over 100 CCC, they call them, I think that's what it was, conservation corps, where they go in and they build roads and everything. So the old campsite, there's a picture of it, and it's up at Gypsy Meadows here, and so you can see also too some of the logging that they had going on a long time ago. If you look over here, there's some huge, looks like that might be cedar right there. But yeah, logging was a main staple of these communities up here and stuff. So. There we go. So we're looking for Sasquatch tracks. Now I'm looking for spots that are disturbed, going up hillsides, maybe a little disturbance like that where something strikes it. You know, I'm 220. I really don't leave prints in the ground. So what I look for is disturbances in the ground. Maybe a branch or something kicked, like what we've seen up there where something was pawing the ground. We determined it was deer with a couple of deer tracks in it. So, you know, it's not, you know, look around. I don't really look around for glyphs or anything like that, but I have come across a few things that are very, very interesting, and something left them there.
Where'd you guys go?
We got split up.
Huh. Find anything?
Yeah. Tin can. Not an old one though.
Huh.
What'd you guys find?
Trees?
Trees?
Lots of trees, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find anything, Pops?
Nope. Nothing worth reporting.
Will said he found a bigger tree than we found.
He found some pretty big trees.
We just found the stumps.
Oh, okay. I got him to pose by one of them, so I got proof.
Where were you thinking?
I was kind of thinking one of those trees pointing this way in this open field, so if anything runs through. But do they go in the open, or do they stay behind the trees?
Well, that peaker we had stayed behind the tree.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, we got that set up, and happens to be right on a trail.
It's my secret weapon. Can't see it.
This is new. This is new Bigfoot research technology.
It's not new. Dog toy. Yeah. Usually when I go camping somewhere, I'll hike around and I'll just walk around the woods sometimes. Just doing that, right? And then I'll leave it on a tree stump, and hopefully I'd capture it on audio in the middle of the night, but nothing's happened yet. So
He's writing a note to Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's my love note.
Leave my camera alone.
Please get caught on camera. Yeah, so I've got 5. Figure we'll put one back here by yours, and then maybe spread out a few others just to see.
Now we got one more game camera back there, and he's going to set up another one, because there's another little field thing kind of dips down back in there.
So there's 3 back there now?
There's going to be 3. He's going to get another one.
I'm thinking if the trail's going that way, maybe stick it on a tree right here. Something would walk right by, and maybe not even see the camera.
Or come up towards it.
Yeah.
Towards camp.
So I think I'm going to put one right here.
Where are you going to put your audio?
As far away from the creek as possible.
Yeah.
I had it set up here on my car last night, and I was reviewing a little bit of it this morning. There's faint voices coming from that way, but because of the creek, it's kind of muffled it, but there's voices.
Right.
Sound like 2 people having a conversation.
Huh.
Just like Curtis and David described, hearing people talking up there, so most likely my audio is going to go that way.
Okay. I'm guessing you already came over here and looked for tracks, right? Yeah.
Wow, this ground is soft. Now I see it. I was looking at all this down stuff. I wasn't looking up. Okay. Yeah, that really sticks out. Just hard to see it through the trees.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to set up audio.
I'm going to put out a camera.
So I think I'm just going to wrap mine around this little tree here. Okay, so I've tied my audio recorder to this broken limb sticking up and covered it with a little stick, kind of keep moisture out. And hopefully it doesn't pour down rain tonight. And we're up above the camp on the side closest to the road. In fact, so there's the road right there, and if anybody drives by, we're going to get audio of the road. Will reported he had his recorder on top of his vehicle last night, and he could hear like some people in the middle of the night having a conversation, and there's nobody else up here. It's very similar to a story that the doctors told from the year before, and they heard like a conversation going on up here. So if anything crosses through here, hopefully if they have a conversation, we'll be able to pick that up on my audio. And then we're also we're very close to the infamous X that's right here. So there's the X, and it's very obvious from this side going up, and then there's a huge trail right next to it, which is right next to where I put my audio, and that cuts from that side over there of the road right through here. So we'll see if we pick anything up in the middle of the night.
I don't know. I've heard the whistles, and they sound human-like, and there's nobody else out here. And I've heard whistles in areas where I know I was the only one out there. But every one of us have heard this talking, you know. I'm just hoping some of it's on our audio equipment, but there's conversations going on when we're all together and we're all hearing it. So
Have you ever done a whoop and got a whoop back?
Not a whoop, but I have gotten wood knocks, but I've never gotten a whoop back. But I've had other sounds, don't exactly know what to put them to, but that and wood knocks.
Okay, Will is gonna go set up a camera this way.
figured if a cat or a bear or anything just walks through there just to get a drink.
Oh, over there.
Low bridge.
Yeah, watch your head coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. Got this dead tree laying across here. And this has got a huge rotted gouge out of it. I mean, how long until that huge tree falls? It's pretty big.
Didn't you rig something like that up with a...
Yeah. So, that's Pops doing a whoop, trying to get a response. So it's been interesting. We've been setting up game cameras out behind the camp because I guess last fall or the end of last summer when I was in Florida, they camped here and they actually, with a thermal, caught the image of somebody peeping around the trees and got the glow of their eyes and part of their head as they were looking around the tree. And so we put up 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 game cameras back behind the camp. I've had this weird feeling like I shouldn't go on this camping trip, like something's going to happen. It just I had this gut feeling, but you know, I came on up anyway. So, huh? We got action. Oh, okay. They got action. We're gonna go film it. Alright, so there are no other campers over here. And apparently they heard some kind of noise. So, not sure what it was. That's actually a really wide footprint right there, but
Okay, we'll see if we can get to you.
so Will's calling us over. He found something apparently.
Sounds like maybe an impression.
Yeah. There's a really wide one right there.
Oh.
It's really hard to see on camera.
Why would anybody dig this?
Looking for gold.
True. You weren't here in August. The track we found in August, right there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Odds?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of an odd spot to look for gold, but it's
Okay.
possible.
A whoop, a possible response, 2 questionable impressions in the exact same area as last year where we found a track. So, I don't know. And it happened right after we finished cooking dinner. Now are these, does it look like it's going in 2 different directions?
Yeah, it does.
So this one's going that way,
Yeah.
and this one's going that way.
We want to
But
go a little further in?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we can say that nobody else is here, so it wasn't a person.
Yeah. So that's good news.
Let's just hope it happens again.
So the guys are going over to check campsite 18 just to make sure nobody's over here making noises. Nobody here?
No.
Alright, so explain to me what exactly happened.
From the beginning,
Yeah, we ate dinner.
we ate dinner, we put some logs on the fire, and there was just this loud high-pitched whoop south of our camp on the other side of the creek. Bill and his friend heard it, and then I came, told you guys, got a whoop.
Yeah, so when at what point did you whoop?
So I didn't hear the initial, but once Will grabbed me and we went back in and he was using his FLIR, then I whooped and heard something. I always struggle to repeat it,
We both heard it.
but we both heard a sound that was coming again from across what could be from across the creek. So
At a distance, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was not near. No.
But that whoop was loud and clear. The first one. So that one seemed close. And when Curtis and David showed up, we saw it and we chased after it. And if they had shown up earlier, they would have seen it too.
You guys had a pretty rough ride getting here, huh?
Well, it was a rough 12 hours, but other than that, it was fine. I'd shake your hand, but I've got a cold here. I'll bump your elbow.
Oh man, how you doing, David?
Marshall,
Hey, good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
hey, good to see you guys.
Yeah.
We'll get set up.
Say howdy, howdy. I'm Glenn, Glenn Leach. So sharing a song here.
Tell me about it.
Trying to learn Native American Sign Language because I'm hoping that since all Sasquatches through the generations, all Indian nations have different names for them, that they pass on Indian Sign Language down to generations. So somehow trying to communicate with them doing Indian Sign Language.
You can hear Glenn. He's singing at the campfire. Apparently it's a song, they call it the round dance, and he was saying that that's where the young ladies invite the young men at the powwows to dance with them. So we found some tracks, and Will went back and measured them, and I think they were 14-inch. And with what was weird was when we looked at it with our naked eye, we couldn't see the heel mark, but when he did it with the camera, we were able to see clearly there was a rounded heel mark, and it was definitely a boot. So the tracks that we were seeing over there was probably somebody prospecting, you know, with the larger size shoe. So that turned out to be nothing, but we didn't actually discover, you know, what made the noise, because there was nobody in any of the other camps over there. And so so it's interesting. Hopefully, you know, we'll hear some activity tonight or something, but we'll see.
So we started down the rabbit hole in 2022 was our first outing. Curtis had been to Nepal and saw the
Pangboche Yeti, the skull in the hand. And I knew David had been interested in Bigfoot. I mean, he had studied a lot of Native American lore.
So I knew that Native Americans had names for every, every Native American tribe had a different name for Bigfoot and stuff, and studying it. I enjoyed Native American history. So Curtis came up to visit me one time for my birthday, and I went to take a shower. He looked on my DVR and saw that I had a bunch of Bigfoot recordings on there, and he was supposed to pick a movie out, and he goes, "Hey, let's watch Bigfoot stuff." And hey, no problem, great. So he got more interest in that. So,
and then I saw the Yeti skull and the hand, and
east of Crescent City in California, north of Bluff Creek area, they found on the South Kelsey Trail a place we could go to, and you drive like 20 miles out, go on a dirt road for 5 miles, and then we hike in 6 miles to where we set up our base camp, and that's where we started. And to us, it was a Bigfooting. We were going backpacking just with our buddies.
Yeah, camping, backpacking.
We were total. We didn't have anything, so we go out there.
We had no idea what was required to do research.
We never had any friends that did this or anything like that. So, and on the next to the last day, or 2 days before the last day, I looked and I saw wetness about 30 yards off the trail. And we went, hey, let's go look and see what's there. So we go over there, 3 16-inch steps across this marsh that there was no need to walk across the marsh because it was dry 10 feet over here and dry 10 yards over here and 10 yards over here. But 16-inch tracks compared to our foot was like huge and stuff. So that was our first thing, like a track that we found. And so we went back actually the next day, and the middle one in the marsh had disappeared and been reabsorbed. So that told us it was fresh.
It was in deeper water.
Yeah, and it just
the ones on the edge didn't have much water in them, so it was gone. And by the next day, so as David said, we realized it was probably pretty recent from us being there that thing had walked through there. But that was basically the story that got us down this whole rabbit hole.
A lot of the Bigfoot research that I'm seeing these guys do, especially Will Ulmer, is a lot of listening. And we'll be sitting around camp talking, and if you're talking, you won't hear it. But if you're quiet, and listen, you'll hear these noises, and sometimes it gets interesting, because they'll hear whistles and they'll hear tree knocks. Sometimes they'll hear whooping sounds.
And I need all of you to sign it.
You need a felt pen?
No, right now. What do you think?
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Love it.
Gypsy Meadows Sasquatch.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We're going to be famous.
Copyrights went out the window.
Over there, big up. Over there, over here, this.
So this morning, I woke up to the sound of rain. So I'm up here to get my audio recorder before it gets soaked. And I was in a lot of pain last night. I don't know if it's sciatica, nerve, or what, but my left thigh was throbbing and hurting, and then it was shooting down to my ankle. So after spending 24 hours at camp and being in pain, I decided to go home and take care of my health issue. And by Thursday I was feeling better, and I drove back up to camp to see what was going on. I met Aaron on my way up as he was on his way out from camping a couple nights, and he gave me a report of a lot of things happening.
So I was not there for the most exciting day, where they had some brief, what seemed to be sightings, but I was there for the follow-up when we went to that area. This is my son Paul, and everybody was very nice to him and encouraging and gave him lots of candy, so he will want to come back. But yeah, I was there for the follow-up, and we hiked down the creek where they had the encounter, and they found several tracks, and I can't say I found any of them, but I saw them all, and I'm a little skeptical that you're going to find, it just seems like we're finding too much stuff, but they seem to be legitimate tracks. Like they're about 60 to 80 inches apart. They're 16 inches long. They're all the same length. You could see toes. So that was pretty crazy to see. And then the night before, I thought I heard what some people call the samurai chatter. Not a lot of it though. It was so brief that I can't say much about it. And it seemed like maybe a sentence like rah, rah, rah. And that's not exactly what it sounded like, but you know, that kind of thing. Deeper and more weird sounding from off over the hill, where it seems like a rock was thrown later from that hill and other noises coming from that direction. So that's pretty much all I experienced. But I was there when other people saw things. I didn't see the rock thrown or hear it thrown, but I saw where it landed and stuff and all that. And it really does seem like there's some Bigfoot around and something's happening. I mean, everybody's hesitant to, you know, label it that, but it's hard to know what else is doing this stuff.
I heard rumor about something about a rock being thrown.
Yes, so yesterday afternoon we had been up across the creek, except like we had done on Monday, and I hear this huge thud in what I thought was the middle of the meadow near the far end. And so I had my phone and the internet was on, and I texted both David and Will that, you know, I heard this thud, there might have been a rock throw. Happened, I told David, and he got out the thermal and scanned the far tree line and didn't see anything with the thermal. So once the guys came down, they started searching and they found a crater on this far side of the meadow where it looked like a rock had landed. And at the bottom of the crater were some fresh pine needles that had been crushed, so as it came through the one branch, it kind of took some pine needles with it. And it also scraped that branch, and there was a fresh scrape on the branch. So we took the rock out and started looking around and thought that the only direction it could have come from, the way it hit and went through that pine, that one branch of the pine tree, was from across the meadow. Got David's laser finder, and we measured that it was 25 yards, so 75 feet from across the meadow. And then Will and Pops went up the ridge and they found a place where it looked like the rock had been excavated, pulled out of the ground. And when you look from that spot, it's probably 50 feet from our campsite. And at the time of the rock throw, David and Candy had been making dinner in our tent or our awning, and then they had just sat down to eat dinner when the rock hit. So whatever, you know, excavated this rock was literally within sight of them if they had known it was there. David then brought the rock up, and it was a perfect fit.
Wow.
They then started looking for prints, and they found 4 or 5 15.5-inch prints that were coming in this direction towards the rock that had been excavated. And later I went up the trail, and I was going to change batteries on my audio that's up there, and I found a second rock that has been displaced out of where it had been. Either it was kicked or picked up, I don't know, but it was just laying right beside this hole. And I didn't see it yesterday, but this morning, right where that rock had been displaced, there's a trail that goes up the ridge, so, you know, behind our camp, and on that trail there's another 15.5-inch print.
So this is the rock that Will and Curtis were talking about.
17.3 pounds, 10 inches by 5 by 4. 17.3. So 75 feet throw.
Wow.
At minimum.
I don't think it was occasional, you know, a casual toss, because we heard the thump all the way over here.
Wow.
So it had been high enough for a deep enough impact, and it was sunken in, what, about an inch?
Yeah, an inch or two. And to put that in perspective, 75 feet, I looked up last night while we were sitting here, the world record for shot put which is 16 pounds, not 17.3. The world record is 77 feet.
Whoa.
So this was at least 75, depending on where it was sort of in the tree line throwing it. We assume it was in the tree line because I never saw anything.
Yeah, we found 16 and a half, several of them. There was a nice line of them following the creek. And from what I'm assuming, it looks like it like walked into the creek a few times, and then we found some 16-inch in other areas. So either it was zigzagging in and out of the creek or something, I don't know. But they're nice looking tracks.
You guys said Pops is up casting something right now?
Yeah, I ended up casting one of those 16.5-inch tracks that we found. I think it was that really nice one. It had the toe definition in it, so I'm assuming that's the one he's casting right now. We were wondering whether they're even there because that thunderstorm that blew through here dumped a lot of rain, a lot of hard rain. So,
Pops to base.
base camp.
All still good here.
Copy that. So when that thunderstorm came blowing in, it was dumping rain, so we all kind of basically just went back to our campsites. And so everyone's in their tents, campers, and this whole time we've been out here, we've had no activity back here at all, except for distant knocks and whistles and that one call that we had, but they're always in the back. We've had no activity close up back here. I was in my tent for about 15 minutes and I heard a loud thump. So a rock was thrown in this area towards camp. I was like, oh, this is awesome. We got game cameras out there. But I remember when you left, you took your game camera with you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no camera on that trail.
Wow.
And since your camera wasn't there, we got activity.
Interesting.
Yeah. As soon as the camera's gone, they came closer.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Will found a spring.
I saw something out there on our first hike. Curtis, David, and I, we walked up onto the ridge. The three of us were up on the ridge, and Bill, Glenn, and Pops were all down by towards the creek. And Glenn was always point man, walking through there. So I saw the three of them, and I caught a glimpse, and I look over, and there's a upright silhouette right through the trees behind them. So I yelled at them. I was like, guys, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, you need to get up on this ridge, like right now. So they start making their way up, and while I'm looking at them, I'm hearing limbs snapping and breaking down below. And so they get up. Curtis whips out the thermal, and he gets a heat signature of, we assume, 2 heads, possibly, in the distance there. So we were all up on the ridge at that point. So I decided to walk down just by myself and walk towards that direction. And there's like a little bit of an embankment that drops down and then it goes to the creek. I stopped at the embankment because I had this just overwhelming sensation not to go any further, like chills up my spine. And as I'm about to turn around, I heard voices across the creek, like a conversation going on. Couldn't make out anything, but heard something. So then I make it back up on the ridge, and we eventually started hiking back out. Bill and that group all went back down there, and Bill banged on the tree again, and he heard Klingon talking language across the creek as well.
But then I'm looking, scanning through the thermal, and I get a hit, and it's a single head, kind of, I can see it going back and forth and disappearing. No body, I didn't see a body. And then a second or two later, a second one on the tree next to it. I estimated 7 feet, but that was just an estimate. The trees were apart, and all of a sudden there were 2 heads doing the same kind of thing. And then one of them dropped down. And at one point, luckily, Will was standing behind me. I said, "Here, we'll look through this." So he actually saw it, but we don't.
It was a hare. It was a hare.
It was definitely round, you know, and so I didn't record it, but at least Will saw it as well.
Base camp.
Still doing good. Just waiting for things to harden up.
Copy that.
So yesterday we did another recreation because we were there. I climbed back up the ridge, used the same thermal, same magnification or zoom, and Will kind of got down that embankment. We think whatever was there had been down the embankment because all I could see was a head doing this, and maybe the rest of it was behind the embankment. And Aaron stood maybe, what was he, 50 feet ahead of you? I don't know.
Yeah.
And Aaron was kind of on the walkie-talkie, you know, radioing back and forth. What do you see? And even Aaron, who was closer, his head was much smaller than the 2 objects that I saw kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, and I got that uneasy feeling when we were there this time.
Yeah.
And it only lasted a few minutes, but it was the exact same spot I was standing in before. And we did, on the way out, we did come across a 13-inch track in that general area.
So these guys don't know what they're talking about. I'll tell you the real story. Just kidding. It's really cool. Went across the creek, and we were just doing a quick sweep over on that side, and so we're kind of split up a little bit. There was 2 groups of 3, and we were staying close to the creek, and these guys were up on the hillside more, walking up along the ridge, and I came across a big cedar that was all hollowed out, and I was kind of looking at it. I thought, well, I'll go over there and look and see if it's hollow or not or whatever. So I went over there and looked at it. It was hollow, and it was about 10 feet tall. So I thought, well, I wonder what it sounds like, you know, for a sounding, you know. So I started hitting a little bit with my fist, and it had a really good sound to it. So I started doing a little bit more of like I was kind of drumming on it, and these guys were, you know, they hollered at us and asked if we were doing any drumming. I said, yeah. And that's when Will and those guys said, hey, we got something on the flare behind you guys, come up the hill here. So we all went up on the hill and converged up there, and we're trying to figure out what was hitting on the flare and stuff. So Will went down to check, and they were doing flare checks on everything. They couldn't find what they were looking for, and then we decided to go back down. We'd go back down the hill after Will came back up and was doing an inspection down there. So we came back up and kind of talked for a few minutes, and we decided we're going to go back down off that ridge, and they're going to continue along the ridge, and we're going to continue along the creek. I thought I'd go back and, you know, drum on it. I just said, I'm going to go back and drum on it again. So I went back there and did a little bit more drumming. And I stepped out around it, and I was kind of standing there for about, you know, just about a second or two. And I heard the strangest, and it was over the creek. It was clear, and it was like somebody was talking back to me in a different language. But you know, it didn't shock me. It was just like, are you kidding me? Because it said like quackikak na naki or something, just something that was strange. It sounded like Klingon, and I was like, you know, kind of that stunned. It was like, did I just hear what I just heard? You know, but it dawned on me that it was like it was across the creek way, but I could hear it really clear, and you know, so it wasn't yelling. It wasn't. It was more or less. I kind of felt like I was going, "What is that dumb guy doing?" You know.
So basically, we have activity happening up on this ridgeline right above the SquatchDocs campsite. So I deployed a video camera out here just to run for the rest of the day. Hopefully we'll capture something walking through the background or something.
So that's the whistling is something that you guys didn't mention before. Can you tell me about that and where it came from? Who heard it?
Will's got the best ears, so.
I think the best whistle we got was that nice long one. Yeah. I kept breaking away from camp and just sitting at a distance with a thermal. Pops and I ended up over in that empty campsite, and we're sitting over there, and we're just listening. I'm therming everything, and what was it, around 8? You think 8:30, 9, 8, 7? It was
probably
getting dark.
after 8, because it was not dark, but it was getting there.
There was this long whistle. Came from that way. No, that way. And I radioed everyone. Like, hey, did you guys hear that whistle? And they're like, yeah, we heard it. So
we were right here in this.
Yeah.
In this camp.
So when you say that way, like towards the other camp, but
yes.
There's nobody over there.
Nobody there. There hasn't been anybody all week that we know of. And the only person that we know that was in 18, which is across the road from that camp, was Aaron. His first night, he got in at 3 in the morning, so he slept there. And we've checked pretty much every day. Nobody's been in that campground or 18. So, and they were distinctly different than the bird twirls or whatever you would call it. It was just more of a single, but that one was longer. There were a couple that were just quick.
I think the day before we were all sitting here, and it's starting to get dark a little bit. You know how the birds will just chirp all the way up to a point where they just stop? Well, they were doing that, and right across the creek were 2 distinct whistles that it was definitely not a bird. I mean, it was just clear as day. It's like someone just whistled.
That's interesting.
Almost looks like there's a big digit right here.
Yep. You can see it. It looks like the big toe.
You know what? I might just cast this one.
I like that one because it does look like there's a big toe there. Kind of the toes spread out like it's something that doesn't wear shoes.
I even have a nice little technique to get rid of the water.
Base to Will.
Go for Will.
Just checking on you.
I may have found something. Looks like a big knob right there.
So Pops just got back from doing a casting
possibly.
of one of the footprints that they found, and this is what, one of the 15 or 16 inch?
16 and a half.
16 and a half inch.
Wow, look at that. That's going to be a good one.
I think that is going to be a good one.
Definitely.
And this had the 80-inch stride when you guys measured it out.
Now, this goes to answer what you were talking about, Marshall, as far as speed. And we talked about it a little last night, but this just has, one disc on there. So that's a normal walk pressure release.
Oh, okay.
On that. So if he's going faster, then it starts creating a dish on top of the disc. And if he goes faster, then you start getting the fractures in that, and then you get an explosion. If you're really running hard, you get that pressure going back. So it's flat in the ill, but you see the buildup in the back of that, and that's where the pressure release is causing the disc in the direction of motion, opposite direction of motion. So that's just a normal walk. I mean, he probably came down, I mean, for the depth that you got in here, he definitely probably came down on a heel.
Yeah, because it was a good step, and it was lower than the other impression that we
probably came
thought
down.
we could
So
see.
this area, if you think in reverse of what this is looking at, this is looking at a depth.
A heel step, not a toe step first.
It's depth, hard, and then he comes flat here, and his next step is here, and then you have this right here, that pressure going back.
So Will and Pops are headed up there behind David and Curtis's camp, where Will found this footprint.
.5 by 6. This is where we found our tracks.
This is where we found most of them, up in this marshy area.
Puddle over there.
In 2024 we found 16.5-inch prints right in through here, and then in 2025 just a little closer to the road. I mean, the road's what, 70 yards away, but a little closer we found 15.5-inch prints up here.
So 13.5 would probably be a youth. Curious youth.
Well, you know, I grew up camping. We were always outdoors. My dad was a teacher, so we had the whole summer to go camping and just be outside. And I just loved camping in the woods. I loved the rain. I loved the lightning and thunder. It was great. When I was little, my aunt and uncle, my uncle built his own A-frame house, and he was the one that would get us kids around, and he'd tell us the Bigfoot stories. So that's when I first started, oh, there's what? You know, it's like, oh, okay, you're just joshing me. But that's when I first, and I was probably 8 or 9, I was young when I first heard about Bigfoot. And I did at first have my, this has just been, you know, one of those stories you hear from your uncle when you're little, you know, and you just, you know, laugh about it. But he swore they were real. I'm not sure what kind it is. It's kind of runny.
Oh yeah, that's kind of some runny poop right there.
There's a little bit right here. Just David and then Curtis being brought in and watching the two of them. Every time there was something, it was such a big deal, and they would just get so excited, and they would just have, I mean, they couldn't wait to tell you the story, show you the pictures. And I just felt like, hey, this is kind of up my alley. I love camping. I love going out where nobody else is. It's fun.
Look at that pile.
Oh man.
The fresh.
Sure does. Big old poopy pile.
That's a lot.
It's all wet too.
Yep, that's fresh. This is smashed down here. That's all smashed there. I see you going here. And this would be a right foot because they're a bigger toe here. You see.
Wow. You can barely see it though.
Oh yeah. You see that? 13.5, 14 by 6.
Well, if he's pooping, there's got to be some prints right around here.
I think something's pooped.
Or it's bare.
Taste it, see what it was eating.
Hey, See if you find anything in there.
I didn't see anything in there.
Wait, Will wants to see it. Wait. It's right here. It's coming.
That doesn't look like bear to me.
Okay. What have you been
So
doing?
right here, coming over here, back over here, I found a print we can look at in a second.
Okay.
But right here I found a big pile of fresh crap. Poop. I don't see like seeds or bones or nuts or hair. So I don't know what it's eating.
Now there is nothing in this poo. There's no odor.
Could be deer.
There is no odor.
I didn't smell anything.
You smelled it?
Was it? How about taste?
You got a
I need to know what it feels like.
you got $1,000?
What is it? Is it smooth or gritty?
You can see it.
We've done the other senses. What does it sound like?
What does it sound like?
So it's Friday morning, and I'm headed back up to see what happened overnight, see what I missed.
So Marshall,
Yes.
the ducks are back.
What does that mean?
That was me. What does that mean?
The ducks are back.
I heard
So
quacking last night.
last year we were sitting in front of our truck and we're hearing barred owls go off, and all of a sudden in the middle of the argument between barred owls they were like quack 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 quack, and I'm like, what? We got to our ear it sounded like ducks quacking, and I go, now we got ducks in the forest, you know. And we got it on audio.
Yeah.
I'll play it for you later.
Tell me your story, Bill. What happened last night?
Come on, Bill.
He was looking for snuff.
Look for stuff in his shoes.
So, last night we were all here about 11:30ish and decided to all call it a night. So I went in and got in bed, and I'm just laying there, and the dog, he's laying there kind of snoring. And I was laying there, and all of a sudden I felt the whole camper, like something that's pushed the camper. And I mean, it was a hard rock. And at first I thought maybe Will might have pushed it. And I thought, well, maybe there's a bear or something outside. I mean, it went thump too. And you know, I didn't know what it was, so I'm clicking on the lights, and I'm like looking out the curtains. Didn't see anything. Then I opened up the doors and kind of like, you know, peeked out both sides and kind of looked around. Didn't see anything. So I shut the lights off, and then I thought, well, I better look again, because I didn't know if, you know, maybe they had a bear or something. I thought maybe a bear might have, you know, jumped up on the camper and stuff. So if these guys got it on thermal and stuff, you'll be seeing my doors flying open, and you know, so it'd be a good time stamp for that. Maybe see something outside. But I didn't hear anything run up or anything like that. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. As you can see, it like a big toe right in here.
And there may be another one. There was a root system coming through here, so and there could be another digit here, and I don't know. This is a dam that was built
But
here.
you look and you kind of see where the archway comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And there's kind of, I don't know, I have to relook at it, but it looks like there's some outer bulges.
Wow, this one's substantially
yeah,
bigger.
you
Yes,
can
it
see like a toe. I mean, come on, you go out, here's the deal, you go out in the woods and you're finding these constantly. They may not be perfect, they may not look exact, but You know, you get the same toe designs, you know, the same heel strikes, the same archways. You know, it's not just a natural phenomenon that you find these things all over the place. So.
Yeah, and I mean, like a lot of people say, oh, it's a double bear step or whatever, which you're going to find a lot of those. But, I mean, there is no double bear step with this.
Well, the interesting thing is bears don't always, I mean, yes, they will step over their step, but every single step.
Right. Yeah.
This one's got a good definition, but this one should have.
I think there's some definition in that.
In the
It'll
toe.
be interesting once it's cleaned.
In the toe and the heel strike.
You can definitely see a heel here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, see, your heel looks a lot.
well, mine was in mud.
Yeah.
Yours
Mine was still kind of moss. I mean, you can
Yeah.
see all the pine cones it was in. I mean, the pine cones are just everywhere.
I do love the detail. You can actually see the toes though.
Yeah.
We are getting ready to look at the thermal that was pointed down towards Bill's trailer,
It's going to be right there.
just to the left of his.
You
the
can
back
see
of
it
his trailer.
flash a little bit.
There's a flashing between the trees. I'm not sure if there's, you know, it looks like there's a tree, but there's something.
Oh, okay.
There it
Yep.
goes. So I think there's 2 trees there, and I think we see it between the trees because between the trees leaves.
So is this his camper here?
Yes.
So the tree between the
It's the
camper
left
and
of
the
his
tree.
camper. And it's between the trees right there. That because that white goes away when he goes out.
You know roughly where your thermal was?
Yeah, I know exactly where it was.
So,
It was right by the front edge of my truck.
and you haven't pulled up to 12:30 to 1 a.m.
No.
yet?
We haven't seen what if it comes forward and touches this thing. We haven't gotten there yet.
And you could see if it came forward on this side, you might not see it.
It might have come on this side.
Right.
Well, if it comes on this side, we'll see it. But it's probably going to come on this side.
See, you,
Got a peeker.
you take away the cameras.
Yes.
come in.
Could
That's
somebody,
amazing.
Yeah, can somebody tell me what you guys are looking at?
So last night.
No, it's ours. It's ours.
Dispersed campground.
That's right. Last night, Bill felt something jug his trailer, and so we went back to the time. Luckily, I had a thermal pointed right at his trailer, and at the time that before it happened, we have something behind in the tree line that is coming out and looking, and then it goes back behind a tree, and so it looks like it peeked out with it.
And all of us were in bed. Everybody.
We were all in bed.
So David had a thermal sitting out in front of his truck facing towards Bill's camper. And they're reviewing about the time of night that Bill said he heard something slap his camper and shake it. And they're seeing on the thermal that there was something behind the trees, behind the bear box, which would be just to the left of his camper. I guess they've seen a head and the shoulders. They didn't see anything actually slap the camper because it could have just come up from behind where they couldn't see. It's not just Bill's imagination of what happened. There was actually something in the woods behind his camper. So it's pretty exciting.
And if it was back that far and almost as tall as his trailer, that's pretty big.
Will said after I left yesterday, they went out and took down the game cameras just to see if that was preventing something from coming up to the camp. And so they took the game cameras down. And all of a sudden now they're having action in camp.
Hey, Curtis. So the figure appears to be above the camper.
Yeah, there's one point we think we can see a head above the camper.
Look at this. Let's say I'm the Bigfoot, right? I'm walking up.
Oh, yeah.
This just puts me right above the camper.
Yeah.
Now, look at this. Come back behind the bear box. I do not remember this.
Oh.
Hold on a second. Is that toes, do you think?
Could be. I could even be doing this. Who knows? David's looking at it again in slow motion, and he thinks there are at least two and maybe a third. Because the one we see move off to the left, and there's another white figure there. But then something moves again, and there's still a white figure. So either, now maybe it just moved its arms and there are only two, but it almost looks as if there were two standing back to back, or back to front, I guess, and one went like this. So if there are two left, when that one moved away, there could be three. Oh yeah, you can. You can. So definitely the thermal would see something standing here, because you're right. You can see the whole truck from there.
So they're gonna do a recreation of it to try to see the size using the biggest guy they got here.
Bill has a radio as well. That was him checking in.
When did Bill take down his awning?
This morning. Edge.
Okay, back up. Keep backing up. And move to your right a little bit.
I'm basically sort of in a triangle of 3 trees.
Okay, and we'll just mark that and we'll measure it.
Okay, so we're doing the recreation. I'm filming Curtis, and I squatted down to get a good angle on him, and I'm squatted down like this, and I just kind of glanced down, and there's what looks like a large track just coming off the trail, not too far from where Curtis was standing. So I'm here. Curtis is right there at this tree, so I'm filming him, and I just kind of glanced down, and then there's that.
Nice.
You know, you always think, oh, we're gonna find all this evidence and everything, we're gonna go look, and then we don't see anything or find anything, and this time it was completely different.
Gypsy Meadows never seems to disappoint.